Hello there, Macabre here as usual. Paganism, the occult, and the media have, unfortunately, never had the best relationship. History tends to attest to this. If you want to blame anyone, put it on King Henry VIII, who imposed the Witchcraft Acts of 1542 that led to stigma that's still around till today. But that's for another video. In the modern day, we obviously don't have restrictions on practicing what we believe in, at least if you're watching this video in a country that has religious rights. We aren't threatened with death by the government. Intolerant folk, yeah, but the actual government, not really. With religious freedoms comes the regrowth of pagan culture and witchcraft in the modern world. Though it started relatively quietly and over a long period of time, the wider public is starting to take notice. It hasn't often been discussed within the pagan and witch community, whether out of humility or the fact that most of us haven't been paying attention to the influx of new practitioners and public notice, but it's the elephant in the room. Just last year, the BBC ran a special program on October 31st specifically about witches and pagans, interviews and all, and they're still looking into why non-Abrahamic religions and spiritualities are so popular in Great Britain. Earlier this year, the United States National Rifle Association publicly called out practitioners of witchcraft on Twitter, stating, "When fighting for freedom, the NRA does not get involved in witchcraft. We prefer education, political activism, and grassroots." I'm not a political person, and I don't want this channel to be political, but screw you guys too. More recently, the makeup company Sephora announced that they would be selling a witch kit, which, frankly, was a subject of controversy among witches. Luckily, they decided to cancel this after receiving backlash, but the community is still pretty stirred up. And I'm not gonna lie, this controversy is sort of for a good reason. The fact is, witchcraft and paganism is being brought into the public eye more and more every day. We're not just a little minority or religious group anymore that's a point of curiosity to people who don't actually practice. The media is beginning to recognize that these practices exist and that people who practice them are just about everywhere. The question is, though, is this a good thing? Is the world at a point where it can accept and tolerate the resurgence of pagan cultures and witchcraft? Well, right now that's debatable. As history shows, the media likes to blow things out of proportion. Journalism is fueled by conflict and drama and things that scare people. It gets them higher ratings, which can result in more money. That's how yellow journalism was born and how it survives today. And in a world that is as scary as ours, money can be easy to come by if you cover the right stories. Unfortunately, paganism and witchcraft are pretty easy to corrupt into scary things. That's because they already have been corrupted like that, thanks to King Henry I mentioned earlier. This led to hundreds of years of fear of witches and witchcraft and bans on the practice that were only repealed in Britain in 1951. If you know absolutely nothing about witchcraft and someone says the word, your mind might go to comical things like green-skinned women on brooms or Harry Potter. If you're a history buff, it might go to the Salem witch trials. Or if you're of the mindset that witchcraft is evil, it'll hop on right over to human sacrifice and murder. The same goes for paganism. Pagans often perform rituals, and they can pretty easily be corrupted to seem maleficent, as if they're worshipping some big, spooky, evil god or something. Just look at all the horror movies that make witchcraft look horrific and evil already. One that comes to mind is The Ritual, which was published on Netflix earlier this year. Lots of media, especially movies and literature, already make people scared of the idea of witchcraft and paganism. Those of us who practice it get looked at weird because of that when we mention it to people we want to come out to, and then we have to spend a while explaining that we aren't crazy and we aren't sacrificing things in the basement. As witches and pagans grow in number and we become a noticeable group of people, the media is going to catch on and they're going to start talking about it. They already have. It's not going to take much longer for a misinformed or unethical journalist to say, "Hey, I can make these people look bad," and do so. When that does happen, it's not gonna be too pretty. Rumors and false information can spread fast, and even if one small local news channel says pagans sacrifice people, things could get out of proportion. It goes without question that practitioners around the globe would try to right that wrong as soon as they can. In fact, we're actually pretty good at doing that. A lot of practitioners of pagan beliefs and witchcraft in first world countries have access to at least one online community with others of similar mind, and it doesn't take long for news of injustice and mistreatment towards our fellows to spread. The recent Sephora issue is a pretty good example of how quickly something can be shut down by the witch and pagan community. It took, maybe 2 days to stop the product from being produced? Thing is, that misinformation could still be spread even after it's been disproven by the very people it's targeted at. It'd be easy to tack on a bad reputation to pagans and witches by simply spreading a lie, because our beliefs have already been the target of that and there's still stigma surrounding them. The fact that there's still slight stigma will simply make it easier for inexperienced people to believe false information about our beliefs. It's important that pagans and witches realize that we're growing in size every single day. We need to all prepare ourselves for the fact that we could start receiving more flack than we already are about our practices and about who we are as people. We live in an age where communication is easy. The spreading of information, true or false, is rapid, and not everyone has the ability to distinguish what is real from a made-up fallacy that some angry person put together to attack a group of people. Pagans and witches everywhere can easily become a target for this kind of fake information, and it can be damaging to our reputation as a religious and spiritual minority. Is this something that could damage every single pagan or witch? No. If some false information gets out, it's not going to be too major, it's not some apocalyptic scenario. I mean, if anything, the people spreading it would be mobbed with mail telling them to inform their audience that what they said was not true and that they were misinformed. This isn't an issue we'll have to be too worried about. We do live in a more tolerant society in general. People might be willing to learn about paganism and witchcraft first, before believing everything they see by totallyrealwitchcraftinformation.com on Facebook. That being said, paganism and witchcraft is bound to become something that is more commonplace in the next few years, and there are groups of people against our ideals who are more than willing to push against us. I guess what this rant is trying to say is that we need to be aware of how quickly the pagan community is growing. We're already a topic of conversation in some places, and it's only a matter of time until actual paganism and witchcraft is something that a larger amount of non-pagans know about too. It might be good, it might be bad, but either way, it's comforting to know that our belief systems are being paid attention to. The only question is if they're going to be paid attention to in a good way. Hopefully you learned something from this video. I know it was a bit disorganized, but it was kinda made last minute. My apologies. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you a beautiful morning, evening, and night wherever you are. This has been Macabre. Till next time. Hey, thanks for watching until the end. Before I go, I want to give some credit where it's due. This video and my entire channel would not have been possible without my amazing artist and even greater friend, Oraa. Check out her Twitch below. If you like my content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for watching!